Okay. Hello, can you guys see me? You can just write in the chat session whether you can see me and you can hear my voice clearly. Can you guys hear me? Yeah, can, right? Okay. So, welcome everyone to X Share session 2. So basically what is, let me introduce again what is X Share. So X Share is basically like a program we are having, which we provide a platform for like XMUM students or your staff or your anyone, even you are not in XMUM or you are from XMUM, to share about your ideas, your knowledge to others. As we know, every knowledge, everything starts from sharing. So we really promote everyone to share anything regarding to tech, to the peers here, to our tech community here. As tech community is usually not big, and we wish to actually strengthen the tech community in XMUM. And this is also one of our aim, is to teach everyone some knowledge, some skills to bridge the gap between academic and also industry. As students, we found out that this is really a big gap, such that a lot of people graduate from university, they can't really adapt to the industry. They find some hard time adapt because it's very different. For example, technology use, how the industry works, and how to actually deploy products, tech products. Yeah. So this is our aim. Really wish to bridge the gap between academic and also tech industry. And we will always provide tech related contents, and also wish to you guys to also supporting us. Okay. Um, okay, it's good. Today we have about 14 at 15 attendees. Okay, never mind. There will be still more coming, but it is understandable because is approaching to the finals exam. A lot of you probably will have some are busy working on your finals, your projects, and more. And yeah, let's start the session now. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so first, I'll be introducing you guys about styling's website with Sass. Okay, so I'll share my screen. Can you guys see my screen? Can you guys see my
Yeah.
screen? Yeah, I can see, right? Okay. Okay, so before I start, okay, so today I'll be introducing you guys into styling websites with Sass. Okay, so before that, I'll introduce myself. So my name is Kim Sheng Yong. I am a year 3 software engineering student. I'm the president and founder of XMUM Tech Club, or we can call it X Tech 2. And I'm also the DSC lead of DSC XMUM. So DSC is actually a developer student club and community supported by Google. So if you are interested in joining, you can actually go to this link here. You can go into this link here to actually join our DSC community, and you get more updates there. We'll be organizing events regarding uh, Google related technologies, such as from the last session, we actually share about introduction to Google technologies. We introduce you guys to the technologies we have. Okay. Okay. I think there's someone probably can mute it. Yeah. Okay. No problem. Okay. So this is basically an introduction about the DSC. So without further ado, I will just start with Sass. Okay. So a lot of you probably will ask, what is Sass? What is it? So basically, it is like a more advanced version of CSS, which is a way for us to actually style cascading style sheet for us to style the websites. You have more features which are more mature. They are rich. They can do a lot of more things easily and better than CSS. Okay, so but also we also can call it is SASS. It is called synthetically awesome style sheets, which is a pre-processor scripting language that interpret itself and compile into CSS. So basically, you write the code in Sass, then you have a compiler to actually recompile it into CSS for your websites to actually perform the stylings. So you write your code in .scss or XCSS style format to actually perform the stylings in your website lah. So the main features that Sass actually provide you are such as like variable, nesting, mixins, and inheritance, which I'll be covering today. Okay, so today I'll be using CodePen, CodePen.io to actually code the everything we have here. Okay, so I'll be demonstrating all the important things here. Yeah. Okay, so for this basic work, for this basic sharing, I'll assume you have a knowledge about HTML and a bit of CSS. We won't be using any JavaScript today. So let me start with it. Okay, I'll have a body tag. I will have a body tag. Then I'll have something I will call today we will call it styling. Website with Sass. Okay, so basically this is called the Codepando.io. Okay, you can go here and you can try it along with me. So it's basically an online compiler for use for actually you can write HTML CSS codes. Yeah. Okay, styling. Okay, I read something wrong. Never mind. Okay, so before that, because usually what websites they when you're coding website they support CSS. So at here you need to perform this. Go to the settings here. Settings. Then you go to the CSS here. You say that you need some CSS preprocessor, which is called SCSS. There's also a SASS here, which is also the same thing. But SCSS they have very serious and they have very strict indentation, which we don't want. But that is not required in SCSS, so that's why we are choosing SCSS here. Okay, so we have SCSS supported, so we can start writing SCSS code. Okay, so without further ado, so today I'll teach you the first feature, something good about SCSS, which is we call it variables. Yeah, so variable is something very special. So usually you need to usually for example in CSS you want to insert colors. We have two divs. You want to insert color, you need to write the color code again. For example, 4444444, you need to insert it into two divs together. So but with SCSS, what we can do is for example, I have a class, I call it a variable. Then I have something called div. I have a class, I call it variable1 and variable1. And I have another one. I call it variable2. Okay, and now I call it variable2 here. Yeah, so we have two variables here. Okay, so now I'll start it in SCSS, and you can see it. So usually what we do is usually for example we have a var1. We want the width of 500 pixel and also height of 500 pixel. I want the color. I want it in hashtag FDDDDD probably. Oh, sorry, there's a dot in front. Sometimes I make mistakes. Okay. Sorry, it's background color. I want the background color to be DDDDD. Okay, and also I have a var2. I will have a background. I also have the same thing. Yeah, I have the same thing, but I want the color to be E. Yeah, you can see. Usually, for example, you want to have a same color, or you want, for example, I want to have the same color. You need to code it twice, right? You need to write the hexa code of the color here twice. So therefore, if we are using something called variables, which is a syntax, provided, some features provided in SCSS, we can actually make a variable. So we want this color, for example, we want a red color. We can call it. We can use a $sign, which represents the starting of the variable. We call our main rate, probably. You can call it main rate. Yeah. The main rate, we make it we give it red color. Yeah, give me red color. Then, when we want to style the background color here, we can just directly change it into here. You can call it main rate. Yeah, you see? Yeah, main rate here. And also, if you want to change it here, we can call it main rate. So this is how we perform the stylings here. Yeah, you can perform the stylings here. Let me put some things here to make it more nicer. You don't ignore this. Yeah. So there are some benefits of using. There are actually some benefits of using this. Wait, okay. There are actually some benefits of using these variables is because, for example, now in your websites, right, you usually have a main color. The main color now is red color. For example, in future, you feel that red is very ugly. I want to change all my red color into blue color. So you just change this here and you update automatically to all the divs, all the things in your website. So this is very convenient. If you have example, usually in websites, right, when I build new websites, I will have like a main color, I will call it main color, and another sub color, I will call it sub color. Then I can actually interchange it with throughout the whole website. They can share the same variable here. Okay. Okay, so this is the first feature. I think it is quite understandable probably. If you have any question, you can just write in the comment section, yeah, and I will stop it and I'll explain more on it, yeah. Today is basically a sharing session, so I won't be going in depth in everything. I will just very briefly share the main features that we have here. Okay, so next our next covering we will call nesting. We call something nesting. Okay, nesting. Okay, so there's something also we cover. There's something called nesting in SCSS. Yeah, nesting. Okay, so in nesting we have something called in nesting, for example, usually we have a div, we call it class, we call it nesting. Yeah, the div is nesting. Then in nesting we have another div, we call it nest1, and we have another div inside, we call it a nest one. Yeah, for example, yeah. So I write some text here, then you can see it clearly. Nesting, nest1, nest1. Yeah, yeah, probably you can see it. Then I will perform some styling on the nesting. For example, I perform some styling on the nesting. I have a background color of let me call it same thing, main red. Change it here. Okay, so you can see here, this nesting div, it includes a nest1. Nest1s include a nest11. You can see this actually nested, right? So nest1 is inside of nest1. Nest1 is inside of nesting. So usually what we have to do is we need to create 3 separate commands to actually styling it. For example, you need to call it nest1 here, nest1 here to actually style it, and we call it nest2 here to actually then perform on styling here. Okay, but one of the problem we face when the project is becoming bigger and bigger is that some class they probably have the same class name. For example, in later behind you have another nest1. You have another nest1 behind here, like in the probably after the body, you have another called nest1 div. Then when you style it like this, the nest1 div out behind will also be affected. So if, for example, I want to change this nest here to blue only. I want to change this into blue only. I don't want the others to be affected. But if you do it like this, like normal CSS, it will be affected unless you're doing some nested thing. Yeah. So in SCSS, they have something very simple and very usable. We call it nesting. Okay. So what they do is like what we usually could see within these braces. So within the braces, we can call a nest1, and we can style it the nest1 here. It is inside this nesting. You can see it. Is inside this nesting. Is inside nesting, and we can create another styling command here, and we can style it directly here. So for example, I want the background color to I want to have another. I want to have a few more colors. Wait for a while, yeah. Let me give a few more variables. I want the background color to be. Let me see. I want it to be main blue. I want to be main blue. Okay, and in nest one, we can see here, in nest one, inside nest one, there's another nest one here, nest one here, which is inside nest one. So what we can do is, we can also put inside the within this curly braces, means that inside this nest one, we have a div called nest one, and we want the background color to be main green. Okay. So you can see here, yeah, inside the nesting, we have a nest one, which we style it here, nest one. Inside within these braces, you can see nest one nesting is in these braces. Inside this nesting, we have something called nest one, and we style it with this background color. And inside nest one, we have another background color, we call it green, and it is inside here. So with this code, it is very, very clean, very simple. You can see the nesting, the structure of the CSS structure of this code here. You can see it very easily, very clearly, and you usually won't make mistakes such as like you affect other div with sharing the same name in a different section. Okay, so this is one of it, which is we call it nesting. Okay, is it clear, guys? You need any question to ask? If not, I will continue with the next one. Okay, probably there are no. So let me continue with the next one. Yeah, so I will have a third one. Third features we have is called Mixins. So what is Mixins? Mixins is something pretty cool. Mixin is basically like, it's a function. It's a function in SCSS. So we can pass a variable and it can perform a function to you. Okay, let me do some demonstration first. Yeah, let me copy the codes I have here. I'll just paste it to save some time. Yeah, so for example, I have a div, we call it which is called Mixin. Okay. Okay, I have a div called Mixin. You can see here. So I give some background colors so that you can see it clearer. Okay, so I have a background color so you can see it clearer. Okay, you can see that you have a anything. Oh, okay, I can put and hive. Then I put a background color. I put it main gray. Yeah, you can see there's a main gray, there's a gray color here, which is the mixin. Okay, for example, I have usually, for example, you have a lot of lot of divs, which is like for example, like a shopping cart, usually a shopping item, right, in Lazada. This is earphone, this is earbuds. They have the same structure, they have the same styling. So you want to perform the same styling for each of them. So what you can do is like you create a function or you create an object. You create a function, you create an object which returns the things you want. For example, in here we have something called mixin. I think it's not pretty clear what I explained. I a better picture of how it works. So for example, I want to perform transformation. I want to let this mixin to rotate 30 degrees. Okay, so I can have a mixin, which is like a function. I call it transform. Yeah, transform this. Okay, yeah, I set the parameter in, which is like a usual function in our C code or any code we learn. Okay, so then I can just transform it. With a parameter, with this parameter. So what I do here, I just include transform this, and I rotate it 30 degree. Yeah. You can see here it rotated. I think I changed to red color. It's probably clearer. It rotated. Yeah, you can see here. So example, right? I want to do this on others here. I want to do this on variable one. Variable one probably cannot. Yeah, because it's up there. Yeah. Yeah. I want to have another div. Yeah, I call it mixin two. Mixin two. Okay. So I have the same. Oh. All right. Sorry for that. Mixin 2, and I want to green. I'll make it green. Yeah, you see, you can perform the same styling here. So what it does is, when you include this, transform this, and you give a rotate 30 degree here, the rotate 30 degree will be passed to this parameter here. So this parameter here, you will be replaced with this. Okay. Then what it do is, then the parameter will also be replaced with the value you pass in with the parameter, which is rotate 30. Then it will return this whole thing to here. It is the same thing, yeah, but it is more modular. You can use it in a lot of places. This is just probably one example. For example, you want to have a border, okay? You want it to pass another parameter. So I call it par2, yeah, just par2. Then I pass another. I just call it 10. Let me pass it 10 pixel. Yeah, I just buy 10 pixel. Then what I can do is I have a border. I can set a border and solid. Wait, par2, solid, black. Yeah. I think there's some problem here. Never mind. I think I'll rewrite the function. I'll write another function. Never mind. I have something called change color here. Yeah, I have another mixin. I call it change color, and also I want to set the border. Okay, I want to set the border and change color. So I just add include change color, and I pass it a blue color, a main blue, which is a blue color I have. I want to change the color into blue, so the text here will become blue. And also I want to change the border. I want the border to be red. I want the border to be green color. I want the border to be green color with 10 pixel border. Okay, 10 pixel border. I will give a main green. Yeah, you can see you perform the updates. You just pass in the variables and you'll return it according to the parameter you pass in, and you will change according to that. For example, here I'm doing the same thing. I will just I want to change it. I want this to be black color. I want the border to be black color, and I want this to be pink. For example, I want this to be pink. Yeah, you can see it is very modular. You just pass the variables in, and you will perform the stylings according to the mixins you define here. Yeah. So this is the next thing which I shared with you guys. And next, I also have another thing which is I think is very useful, and I use a lot when I'm working with websites, which is inheritance extends. Inheritance extend. Now, due to the time, I think I will just copy the codes I have here. Yeah. So next thing we have is inheritance and extends. Okay. So we have a parent class which is called extend, and we have just extend this thing. Yeah, never mind. Then we have a class. You have a class div. We have a div class called parent and another called children. So for example, usually you want to perform the same thing. For example, both div you want it to be 500 pixel tall and 500 pixel. The height is 500 pixel and the width is 500 pixel. But the second one, you want the color to be changed a little bit. You want it to be pink. You want it to be green. Then the first one, you want it to be red. Yeah, probably. Yeah, because for example, like previously what I did, you can see here, mixing 1 and mixing 2. You see these code are repeating, right? And we can actually write a parent which is having this thing, and we just pass it here, and it can inherit from them. I think it's quite abstract. I will just explain it here with the codes here I have. So I'll prepare a parent, which is parent. I call it div parent. So this div parent, I want to have a background. I want the background color of main green. Yeah, probably. Yeah, then I want the width of 500 pixel and height 500 pixel. Yeah, So for example, I want this, I want my children and my parent both to be 500 pixel. As well, the parent, I want it to be in green color, and the children, I want it not in green color. Okay, so what I can do, I can reuse the code here. I can just pull everything there into the CSS, the CSS styling command I have. So for example, my parent, I can just extend div parent. Yeah, you can see he directly extend it. I didn't write any stylings inside here, but it directly grabs the styling, this whole div, this whole command here, and you this whole command here, and you insert it here directly. Yeah, you can see it gets the green color. The height and width is both 500 pixels. Okay, for example, now to the is back to the children. Okay, for the children, I also want to do the same thing. I want it to be 500 pixel, 500 pixel. Extend div parent. Okay, but one thing I want to change. I see that, okay, although I want the same thing, but I want the color to become red. So I can just directly override the style. Yeah, I can just directly background color main red. You'll become red color. What you do is you grab the whole thing here. You grab the whole thing here first. Then you'll replace the color again with the red color. Okay, so you grab the whole thing here, but you replace this. This is replaced by background color red. It's just very simple. You just extend the thing here, the codes we write before, the parent we write before, and we can perform some tweaking and adjustment based on that. Yeah, this is based on a programming concept. We call it inheritance and extend lah. So this is very useful in CSS because in CSS we can't use it. We can't do something like this. It is very convenient. But in SCSS we can actually do it. Okay, due to the time constraint, I'll do the last thing, which is, I think is very important, which is match operator. Because usually in CSS, we can't do match thing. For example, I want the height to be half of width. For example, my width is 500 pixel. 500 pixel, right? My width is 500 pixel. But I can't do it. I want the height to be half of 500 pixel. What I usually need to do is like width 500, then height is 250. But once I want to change the height to 1000, I need to change the height to 500 too. So I need to change it accordingly. We can't have a match operator there. So what we can do is in here we have something called match operation. Let me copy the code I have first. Yeah. Or later the codes are all available for you guys. I will share the link to you guys. Okay. So here I have I want a div which is height is half of width. Another div is width is half of height. Okay. So I set the 500. Yeah, 500 pixel thing. Then I have then I can actually I have upper one on the height. Or pair one. I want the width. Yeah, the width to be 500. Yes, and I want the height. What I can do here is height. I can just directly take the variable 500 divided by 2. I can divide by 2, and I do the background color main red. You can see what I did here. I can just directly change it here. For example, I will change this to 1000. It also will change accordingly. It is very, very convenient with the combination of variables and match operation. You can do it to any ratio you would like to have. For example, here what I have, yeah, for example, operator 2, I want the width is half of a height. So I can just this divide 2, I can just move it divide 2. Yeah, you can see the width is half of the height. I can just put the variable I want. I just divide 2 here. I can directly divide 2 here. So I will just recap since it's just quite a short time. First, I have using something called variables, which I set the variables here, and I can plug it to any stylings we want to perform in the SCSS. Yeah, it's very convenient. You can just write the variables. You can change the content of the variable, the color there, for example. Yeah. And also next we do something called nesting. It has something it's a very beautiful nesting structure. You can see which div is inside where is inside where, which one is inside there. And also we can specifically point out the CSS we want, the div we want here through the nested structure. You will find this very useful if you experience coding in CSS. Okay, and next we have mixin. Yeah, mixin is basically just a function, something like a function, and it returns the stylings you want here, mixins. Yeah, and next extend inheritance. You just probably just write a parent with a percentage sign before that, and you can extend it to any divs you want. Okay, and lastly you have a math operator. You can divide, plus, minus is all acceptable in SCSS. So basically that's what I wish to share with you guys about SASS. And yeah, do you guys have any question? That's all for me. Do you have any question? We have another speaker later. If you have any question, you can just yeah, you need to install a compiler you need to install a compiler in your, yeah, you need to install a compiler actually, because it's basically you write SASS file. You need the compiler to translate the SASS to CSS in order for the web browser to recognize the CSS file. Yeah. So for example, it's basically a mechanism like that lah. For example, I have some SASS code here, right? I have the SASS code. Then I can just, then what the website do is I have the SCSS code. Then now I will translate into CSS code in order to my website to understand it. This is basically how it works. Yeah, it's very convenient. But you need to follow some steps to actually install the compiler. I didn't do it on my local device text editor because it takes some time, and probably for everyone to follow, it needs some time. Here is very convenient. Is on the web. You just do it very simply, very simple. You can just test it. It's like a playground for you guys to actually try it. You need to install a compiler actually, but the file name is actually SASS. Yeah, SCSS, because SASS they requires very strict indentation rules. For example, you put two indent, it can't work. Yeah. For example, this one I know indent, it also works on. Yeah, do it like this, it also works. But if in SASS it's very strict, it can't work. So that's why I really encourage everyone to use SCSS lah. You just need to put the braces here. Yeah. Any more questions? Yeah, no problem. Thank you. Any more questions for you guys? Okay, I think there's no question. If there's question, I will answer it later. So Mike, can you share the screen? I will introduce our next speaker. Okay, so now I will introduce another of our committee, which is Steven. He will share about how to make a simple game, Pong, with his knowledge. So let's welcome Steven. Are you there?
Okay, I'm here.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, you can
Okay,
probably
so
say your
I'm
point.
gonna be honest first. So I did. Okay, here goes. So currently, I'm not gonna. I haven't prepared a PowerPoint, so I'm just gonna immediately directly to just show you the screen and explain you how to make a game. So the one thing for sure you should know is that the game engine I'm using is called Construct Tree. So for those who doesn't know what Construct Tree is, it's actually a game making software, or also known as a game creation tool, which is the best. Well, not the literally the best, but really good, even for beginners. And by look of here, it's already 100,000 users. So you can either create an account, but for now, let's just click try it now. So, and here you can, and currently, because we're not using an account or even buying subscription to make the game, we're going to go for free trial. So the fun part about Construct is that it runs in browser, so you don't need to download it. It works on desktop, tablets, and even mobiles, and you can even work it offline. So Construct. So in Construct Tree, it is a web-based application, which means you're going to download the HTML file, and it's going to act as if it's an application. So let's just click launch now, and you'll be brought into a new place called editor.construct.net. Now we're going to make the game called Pong with the most minimum graphics of all. I'm talking about the very first Pong game, the one where it's only white and black. So first, we had to click new project. Then when creating a new project, we had to set up a name, the preset of it, the viewport size, the orientations, and we can either to start with an event or a script. Now in Construct 3, on Construct 2, the previous version of Construct 3, it's mostly an event sheet. All of them are visuals. However, with the new Construct 3, there's a script which is most likely to be used for JavaScripts. However, we're going to focus on event sheet. Let's create the name called Ping Pong. And now we're going to use a preset. In these presets, they're already like, the presets are going to set up what kind of game you're going to create. For example, retro style or SD landscape 4 out of 3, they automatically create the viewport size. So let's just go for SD landscape 4.3, and the orientations therefore is landscape, and let's just optimize for pixel art, so all pixel arts are able to play the game, and let's create 321. Now, if you see here, this is an empty layout. The layouts are the visuals of the game. So like when you play the game, it's what it shows. And you see here, you see these little dot lines over here? Those are the viewport size. The viewport size is how big your screen will be. Now, let's start making the game. So first, because I said before, we're going to make this retro style. We're going to create an object. In here, there are so many objects to choose from. There's a digest and storage, form and form controls, general, input, media, monetization, and others. It even has a platform specific and it's web. So for now, let's go to general, double click a sprite, and bang, we just created a sprite. Now here, we're gonna put the color really black. We can set the color, we can create circles or rectangles. We can even fill the color, anything we like. So first, because I said, we're gonna make the paddle. The paddle of the game, we can just click with black, and bam, this is the sprite. We can scale the sprite to become bigger or smaller, longer or shorter. So let's set it to the size to be 32 times 64. Never mind. 128. Yeah, this is better. 32 times 128. So in here, we can place them anywhere we like. We'll just call this, we'll change the name from sprite to player 1. Therefore, this is paddle player 1. Here's a fun thing about construct. You can clone objects such as player 1, then we'll put in their number, player 2. So we just hack the system in order to create another sprite quickly. Alright, we've already made the 2 paddles. Now let's make the ball. Same thing, we have to use the sprite. This time, let's name it ball. For the ball, all we need to do is use the circle or the ellipse tool. And let's just do this. Eat. Okay, then we can crop to the transparent edges or only 2 pixels wide from 1 pixel every left and right in order to make sure that there's enough edges. And by look of it, the size is 202. 32 times. Yeah, let's make it smaller. 100. No, 64. No, actually, 69. Nice. There you go. We just made ourselves a ball. Now, let's input. And let's not forget, we need the inputs, the keyboard. Now, here's a fun thing. There are several objects that you have to edit, such as the general, such as sprite, tile background, tile maps. Those things you have to edit. However, several inputs, you just have to input it once and you don't have to edit it. So we already input the keyboard. Now here's the fun thing. We're going to create the events. First, let's go ahead and create the player 1 and player 2 controls. So for the player 1 and player 2, we're going to use if the key is down, for example, W. There you go. Now let's do it again for S. Let's say that player 1 will control W and S, and player 2 controls the up arrow and down arrow. So in here, if keyboard W is down, then player 1 will move at angle -91. And for S, the angle will be 91. Now here's a fun thing about construct. Here's a fun thing about construct. Now about the angles, it's actually not following. It actually goes like this. This is 0 from the center to the left. That's 0 degrees. If you go down, it's 90 degrees. If it goes left, it is 180 degrees. But if you go up, it's 270 degrees. And back to right, you go 0 degrees or 360. So it's not like a typical where, yeah, I'm not sure what I say. It's not like a typical mathematical. So this one, it's just inverted. Although it's still clockwise, but you started from left, then you rotate it down and goes back up. So here, W and S is down. Where one move 1 pixels, if you go up, and this one goes down. Now let's just copy these. Control C, Control V. Let's change the W into the up arrow. And let's change the S down to a down arrow. And for the player 1, we just have to go back and move it to player 2. Move at angle, -9 degrees. And let's also do that for the other one. Now here, we can choose to preview how the game looks. And here's what it looks like currently. So slow. Let's make it faster. Change the pixel distance instead of 1 to 10. This one too. Make it 10 times faster. I think this is, I'm not sure if it is too fast or too slow. Let's just make it 7.5. But this is tiring. All right, I think this is good enough. All right, now we've already done that. Let's input the Pong mechanic. The Pong mechanic goes this. If the ball is going over here, then it'll immediately move over here. And it will bounce off on its walls until it is bounced off by another paddle. And then it goes back over and over until the ball is able to reach to the other side. Therefore, this requires physics. In construct, there's this thing called behaviors, sprite behaviors. When you click it, these are all the attributes we can add it to the whole sprites. We can make them jump through. We can make them not save or load this object for such as static scenery. We can also make it persist to remember their state when returning to the layout. There's also a solid, shadow caster, tween, pin, and others. However, I like to focus on physics. Now, in Construct, they required using a game engine. No, sorry. They required a physics engine using box 2D. Let's click them add. And here we have the behavior. 15 minutes. Okay, I get to this quick. So here we have in order, can the object move or not? What's the collision mass? Can the object prevent rotation? And the rest is density, friction, elasticity, and others. And this is in order to enable or disable the physics at start. So first, because this is a ball, let's make the collision mass circle. That's done. And now, these are the pedals, right? Since physics, now here's the fun thing about physics. If one object has physics, everyone else must have physics. Well, why? Because in physics, you're not just declaring the object to become physics. You're declaring everything to be physics. So we're going to need just not one, but everyone to have physics. So it's not just the ball, but in or everything. So therefore, the ball, when it collided with this object, they'll know, oh, they have physics. So let's bounce it off. And let's see what it looks like now. Don't worry, don't panic. I understand why. World gravity. So first we have to make the physics to be immovable. They will not be affected by the world gravity. And now let's see it again. See? Although the physics is immovable, we can still move it up and down. But the ball isn't. We cannot change the world gravity from the object, but we can change the world gravity from the event itself. So we'll go to the ball and we'll scroll down. Wait. Oh yeah, sorry, wrong. Sorry. It's supposed to be on system. There's an event on start of layout. Where is it? Oh, there it is. On start of layout. So this trigger will start when the layout has been opened, when it starts. Then we go to ball, and then we'll just set the world gravity. Here it is, which means it will affect all objects to 0. Therefore, the ball will not fall. There we go. The ball does not fall. We did it. And now, we're going to give the ball a movement. So let's say the ball will go to the player 2 first. Therefore, we'll have to create you have to imply forces. There are 2 types of forces. There's normal force and there's impulse. We're just going to ignore velocity because velocity, although you relate with forces, it's not important. So let's apply impulse at angle, let's say 10, and then the angle would be random. So we can create a function. So construct has a function called random, where it'll create a random number to generate from 0 to less than this value. So from 0 to less than 360 will be random. Now let's test this out. Oh no, it's out of the map. Wait, it's out of the map? Oh yes, we haven't made the walls yet. Written our sprite called wall. Color it to black. And let's make it small. So it goes like this. Oh wait, I forgot. I forgot to apply physics here. Sorry. God, how do you apply behavior, physics, once again, immovable. Let's see it now. There we go, it bounces. I think 10 is small. Let's make it 100. And let's make the wall thicker. Like this much. And play. I guess 100 is a bit too much. Let's make it 50. Why is it so slow? Well, in here, if you can see here, although the ball has an immovable prevent rotation, here we have density, the object density from which its mass calculated. We have its friction in order for the object to slow down, and we have its elasticity. So the elasticity is like, because we want the ball to bounce, let's make the elasticity to 1. Because if we make it 1, it 100% bounces off all the time, like a rubber ball. And let's make friction 0. Because if we make friction, if there's friction, then the object will slow us down. I know it's a bit hard because it's a little bit about physics, but to be short, friction makes objects slower, elasticity makes object more rubbery, more elongate, easily to make it bouncy, and density remains sense as its mass. But let's make it 1. Now let's play an angular damping is more like to slow down the rotations. But let's make it to 0 too because the object will not stop rotating. And we click play again. We can see here that it. Yeah, that was so quick. So yes, we have finally finished. Okay, you want to screw this? I'm gonna make the impulse smaller. Let's make it 25. There we go. I think this is too fast, but we'll get there. So let's say we've already created all of this, and we want to declare who the winner is. Let's say on the left one is player 1, and on the right one is player 2. So we'll go to text. Here it is. Here's the text. And this is going to display some text on the screen from the name itself. And here we go. From the text, we can make the size, change the fonts, and others. We can even change the color. But let's change the color to blue, light blue. No, actually, let's make it this color. Then let's make it center and make the size to be 60. And let's make it long, like this enough. So here we go. So if the ball compare x represent as the x equal less than equal 0, then the text, we can set the text to player 2 wins. Let's copy it again, but this time greater or equal layout width. Oh, wait. Let's say player 1 wins. However, let's see it. Oh, wait. The text is always over there. And oh, right. I forgot to mention. It's not layout width. It's viewport width. Viewport 0. So I forgot to mention. This whole thing, this is the layout. However, this is the viewport. So let's see. There we go. Player 1 wins. But let's say we don't want it to appear at start. So we can set the visibility initially visible to become deactivated. Therefore, when the layout starts, it's not visible. And when we can set it set visible during on start. Let's see it. There we go. The text does not appear on the front screen, and it shows the player wins. And there we go. We have finished making the Pong game. I gotta have to apologize to you all that I have to explain so quickly because I'm not confident I can explain this slowly in 30 minutes. And I've just explained it in 25 minutes. And let's say you've already finished this. You want to save it. There's a save button. In here, you can save it in your file, or if you want to, you can save as in a cloud or as a project file. But if you save it as a single file, its type is called .c3p, which means it is a unique type that can only be opened by a construct tree web-based application. I'm just gonna call this one Pong. And if we open the, I think I say one of the documents. Here it is, ping pong. And there you have it. We have just finished making a Pong game with minimum graphics in 25 minutes. That's all.
Okay, really thanks, Steven. It's a very interesting game and it's a very interesting platform actually to actually develop game. You don't need require any programming experience or programming knowledge. It is very simple and it is very informative. Really thanks for that, Steven. Yeah, so really that's all for today's speaker. The first I had shared about the SASS for styling website, and he shared about how to create a game with Pong. Okay, so before this, I want to share my screen for a while. I want to share to you guys some interesting things. Okay. Okay, so all our recordings, we had put it on YouTube. So if you want to view it, for example, our first Python Beginner 101, our first workshop is also here, and our first X-Share session is also here. So all our sharings will be posted on YouTube, which is XMUM. You can just subscribe it, and we'll have up your we had you can just subscribe it, and we'll update our contents there regularly if we have any live sessions. Okay, so back to and also if you are interested in joining our XMUN DSC, you can also, there's a link here which I send there. You can just register as a member, and we have any updates, they will be updated there. Okay, so I'll stop presenting. Mike, can you share your screen there? Okay, he's back here. Okay, so if you are interested in becoming a speaker, no matter you are a student, you are not a student, you are a staff or something, you really like to share something which you know, you want to share something which you wish that it can be known by someone, you can just register as a speaker here. This is we actually provide this as a platform for anyone to share anything they like. It don't need to be very technical things like starting a website or writing codes. It can be some productivity tools you use. It can be some designing tools you use, how to design a logo, how to design something. It can be anything which related to tech. Related to tech things, it is okay. We are open to any topics. We really want to provide, we really want to build our community which really engage, we really wish to share their knowledge, as sharing is starting of everything. This is what I think. And also here we are XMUM Tech Club, and also can call us XTech. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and also subscribe on YouTube. On Facebook, Instagram, you can just write it, you can just search our name, XMUM Tech Club, and we will be there. If you are interested in becoming a speaker, scan this QR code, and we wish to see you in future.